Good morning. Happy holidays. It is 1/2/20205. That's right, January 2nd. It is Coco's birthday, by the way. I just realized that as I said the date. Coco's my dog. So happy
Your
birthday,
dog.
Coco. And two of my other favorite dogs in the house, my double B, the super Blaine Bartlett, my mentor, coach, and most importantly, one of my best friends in the world. Blaine Bartlett, welcome back.
Hey, it's great to be back. Great to be back. I missed the day after Christmas, but I'm home now.
Good. Well, this is your home, and we're glad to have you back home. And of course, we are joined by the amazing, powerful Rhett Power. And Rhett Power has been showing up for us, I will tell you, in a variety of ways. And we are celebrating, Blaine, and we're hoping you're going to be a part of it now that you're back. We have a birthday bash coming up. It's a super triple birthday bash. January 11th, 1958. The birthday of Napoleon Hill Institute. January 11th, 1968, the birthday of Coco's dad, me. And then, of course, January 11th, 2025 at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is the birthplace and the birth date of the Napoleon Hill corporate division. And I'm pleased to announce that Rhett Power is the CEO of our corporate division. And as chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, I've never been more excited to have people like Blaine Bartlett and Rhett Power on my side to build and revitalize in the modern day content of the classics, the most impactful content from Napoleon Hill. Gentlemen, thank you so much for all your help so far, and the future is ours. Good. Many comments today. This should be interesting. We have one guest because of the time change, the last minute time change. I appreciate everyone changing the time today. Unfortunately, I have to go down to the hospital to be with my mom. So I had to move this up to get on the road. And I'm sure everybody understands. I'm not sure the other friends that were supposed to be on understood quite as well why we moved it from the afternoon on a holiday to 5 a.m. Pacific time, but Asif sure did. So let's bring on Asif Rehmani, and CEO of VisualSP. Welcome to Office Hours.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, David.
Well, you understand digital transformation, and that's what I see we doing with the Napoleon Hill Institute. We're creating a digital transformation of a classic in the traditional formats that exist today. But I will tell you, from someone that has worked as Rhett and Blaine have worked since 1992, this digital transformation is not something new. It continues to expand, but since 1969, Code Division Multiple Access was licensed by the Qualcomm to the government. I know Blaine and I work closely with the carriers and the hardware companies in the world in the digital transformation. And before my time in 1968, there was NCR. In a library of big servers in mountains. So I want to start, Asif, and at VisualSP, what is the latest in this half a century digital transformation that's occurring?
I love the way you put that, David. A lot of people look at digital transformation as something new, but it's not. It's definitely not. The way I've been thinking about this is obviously currently it's no secret that we're in the artificial intelligence version of the digital transformation. Before that was the whole internet boom in the 90s. And before that, as you mentioned, there's other technologies. And we've been doing that, every decade there's some different flavor. For us, it's definitely AI as well. These days, if you don't get on top of AI, you get left behind. But the most important thing that we're looking at is to how do we help organizations using AI carefully, methodically, practically, pragmatically, and also safely, very, very safely, with the right kind of guardrails for their employees, to keep the retention high for their employees, to keep the morale high, but also to help them understand what it can do for them. What can AI do for them? So it's not something that they're afraid of, but it can actually empower their jobs. That's where we're up to right now.
Yeah. When you speak about that, Asif, the idea of the human interface comes into play here.
Yeah.
I remember an SAP project that I was part of, in partnership with PwC when we were rolling some stuff out with one of the Nokia country groups back in Europe. And SAP was notoriously difficult to implement. The idea of getting the human beings involved in it, specifically answering the question, what's in it for me? Why should I care about this? Was, that's kind of where we came in. PwC was, handling the infrastructure rollout and that sort of thing. But can you talk a little bit about, how you actually go about with what you do with your clients about the human engagement question? The emotional engagement of the people that are impacted.
Yeah, a great question, Blaine. The first question that comes to mind for most people, especially the ones working remotely like myself, I'm working from my home office right now. You don't have anyone around you. You're thinking, am I truly connected with my team? You're looking at this AI wave come into motion and you're thinking, is this going to take my job? Is my employer that's sitting 200 miles away going to replace me with an AI? AI agent or AI bot. And an employer's minds, which is who we're talking with, is how do I empower that person to do their job 10 times better from where they are, and they feel 10 times connected to the rest of the team as well as the rest of the world with AI. So I'll give you very specific what we're doing just to try to paint an actual visual image of what it is. See, I'm looking at my laptop right now, and in my laptop as an employee myself, I'm working with 12 applications per day. They could be anywhere from a CRM to an HCM to a Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, everything else. How do I use these platforms to the best of my ability to help me do my job and to connect with the people that I need to connect with quickly and easily? That's where AI is coming in. So what we're doing is wherever you are, in any screen that you're in, the AI comes into play as a side panel. That's what we do at VisualSP. It comes in at the side panel and it asks you, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to interact with? What is it on this screen, let's say looking at this contact record or whatever you're looking at that's confusing you? Who do you want to connect with today? And it makes, the words I'm going to use is, it makes the AI contextual. So you don't have to go somewhere. The AI comes to you and helps you where you are. Context sensitive artificial intelligence assistance. That's what we're working on right now, to make it simple for the employee to not feel afraid, to feel it's connected. And just like you were saying, Blaine, what can it do for me? How can it help me in my job? And how can it help me connect with others that I need to connect with?
Blaine, I just finished therapy from an SAP integration that was faster, like 15 years ago. I just finished therapy, and now you brought it all back.
Sorry.
I'm teasing. But I've been there.
It's a monster.
Oh boy.
It's a monster.
Steve, I'm really curious from your perspective. I talk to a lot of CEOs and a lot of founders, who are going through this process of really trying to figure out how to integrate this technology and this work into their workflows and to make their jobs easier. And there's a lot of overwhelm. I think when if you're focused on making widgets, you're not really, technology isn't your thing. What are some of your best advice for people who know that they've got to use technology? They know they've got to use AI. They know they've got to integrate this into their business, but they don't really know where to start, and they're not really technical. And I know there are a lot of people out there who they like making their product, but this technology stuff is really overwhelming. Where to start?
Yeah, that's a great question, Rhett.
It's unfair. I know it's an unfair question, but it's
No, it's I think that's a very fair question. We have to talk about what are the top concerns and thoughts and wishes that executives have these days. And I'll go over a few of them specifically. So the top of mind for everyone is data security and privacy. Whatever I put into AI or whatever my employees put into AI, is that going to go leak to my competitors or others out there? Then there's the reliability, the accuracy, the information that comes back. Is that really going to be accurate, or AI is going to be hallucinating, right, as we have all seen? Also, what is going to be the expertise gap that this AI is filling for my employees? What are ethical and compliance issues? What are the trust issues that my employees are going to have with AI? These are all the different things, and obviously cost. Cost is a big one as well. All these things are what executives are thinking about. So we think about all of this. How do you get an AI that's going to truly be for you and not about the vendor that you're getting? So I'll give you a very specific example here. Double clicking on this is, if you're a Microsoft shop or if you're a Google shop, they have their own AI version. You got a Gemini, you got a Copilot. But which one do you go with? And if you do go with both of them, then you're paying double for your employees, and your information is going into 2 different clouds on top of that. And now you're thinking, oh my God, my costs have increased, my exposure has increased, and now all the data it's flowing into Google and into Microsoft. There's a lot of that hesitancy that all these executives have for a very good reason, including myself. Actually, we also use AI in our own organization. And the benefits we want to always think about from all those concerns that I talked about is, how do I increase efficiency and productivity of my employees with the right guardrails so they can only do certain things in certain places with certain guidelines already in place? How the data that comes back is telling them, first of all, double check the data that's coming in before you make your data-driven decision. Because there could be mistakes. That's something that nobody has figured out. OpenAI, Microsoft, doesn't matter who it is, nobody has figured out. How do I make my cost so it's simple instead of I have to pay 15 different vendors? And I only mentioned Microsoft and Google, but there's also Salesforce, there's SAP, like you mentioned. Everybody's got their own Copilot, right? So the cost comes into play as well. There's so many of these variables, and one of the things we're trying to do, our best for our customers, is we want to make an AI simple, give you the guardrails, give you security. There's no storage at all when it goes and comes back, and make the cost simple. So the way we look at it is one AI to rule them all. As I was mentioning before, whatever's on your screen, it helps you with that and nothing else. Make it simple, make it easy. And that's our wish and a hope to go ahead and make it simple for all these organizations that are struggling with it right now.
It's amazing in that struggle throughout the years. One, I'm with Rhett. I still have PT, SAP, and that's because I was a young vice president of sales, very, very enthusiastic about technology, and did a huge implementation with Thomson Reuters of SAP. And they forgot to mention that the Salesforce 7,000 people would be down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was a lesson called the lesson of back end selling, which in enterprise.
Did we
We
lose
lost your audio.
Yeah, I can't hear. Oh, I think they're muted.
Sorry, I was going to say the great back end selling of enterprise sales is that it takes so long and so many millions of dollars that the people who made the decision are usually gone, so you can point the fingers at them, or you get fired when they point the fingers at you. So I do have PT, SAP, and I know a lot of people in their middle ages like us have PT, SAP. But the lesson learned beyond back end selling of enterprise sales is one lesson about technology, which is it's here to make humans more human. And so if you're a bad human, it's going to make you a worse human. And if you're a good human, it will make you a better human in whatever behaviors are aligned with the objectives or intentions that you have. And I think it's important for people to point the fingers at the people, because technology just, like money, enhances who you are, and makes humans more human, and accelerates, aggregates, compounds their behaviors. And I will tell you that it's interesting because as far as UI and ease and power, if you're not working with, trying, practicing, utilizing AI at home, just practicing, you're making a big mistake. You don't have to implement it anywhere, but it's so inexpensive. You should be playing with it every single day, a minimum amount of time. You will have exponential results in your life, because it's the easiest UI and most powerful technology that humans have ever been able to utilize. And it's companies like VisualSP that allow us to have a dashboard, a UI, a front-facing way of even making it easier and more palatable. And I encourage everyone to reach out to visualsp.com. And Asif, on the holiday, you are a hero, not as big as Santa Claus over there, but second to see, you're like an elf. You're a technology elf of office hours, showing up on the holiday, and you're dressed in green. We appreciate you, Asif. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Happy New Year.
Right on.
Asif.
Cool. You guys have a few minutes still. I wanted to have a chat with you. That's why I didn't put any more guests to replace the guests today. So one of the things every time this year that comes forward with the people that I'm helping is conflict of resolution. And I know that's an oxymoron, a conflict of resolution, but I think people are conflicted to have resolution at the end of the year. And it's because of human nature, I believe, that we are reactive. And so if you're reactive, it creates a conflict if you're going to create a resolve, because you don't have the actual behaviors that will back a resolution. So therefore, you're always reacting to not proactively behaving in the methodology or the manner in which will get you to where you want to be. So we take milestones and we say, okay, I have a new resolve, and this is going to be for 2025. And because we're reactionary in our nature, there's a conflict with all resolve. And that's why by the time my birthday comes around, most people have lost their resolve. And you two have helped more people than I have. You've been to more, Blaine has at least. You're younger than me, Santa, although you're timeless. But you've helped more people. What can we do to empower people to understand the idea of resolution and not utilize milestones in order to effectuate resolve?
Great question. I think for me, there's two things that come to mind. One is most people will set, particularly around what we're talking about here, the end of the holiday, the beginning of the new year, the New Year's resolution phenomenon, because when they set the resolution, they forget that the purpose of any goal is to grow, and they try to achieve the resolution within the confines of their current state of being, forgetting that in order to actually achieve that new thing, it's going to make them uncomfortable. By definition, growth is going to be uncomfortable. Doesn't mean it has to be suffering. That's a secondary question, but it's going to be uncomfortable. So I think one way that, at least for me, in the work that I've done with myself, and I'll just speak to myself, is a recognition up front. Okay, this is going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be painful necessarily, but it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be a change of routine. It's going to mark out something different, because until something changes, nothing's going to be different. So that whole dynamic comes into play. And I think the second piece, at least for me, has to do with just the nature of most goal setting. I'm committed to something out there. It's, weight loss, cessation of smoking. It's out there someplace in time and space. It has to live in here. So rather than being committed to this objective, I am a commitment. So it becomes a state of being. It becomes a statement of I amness. And that, there's a linguistic dynamic that comes into play with that. But that's where the meaning comes in. And Asif talked about, AI contextualizing what it is that we're trying to do. And if the context is missing, meaning goes out the door. Context provides meaning. So that's kind of where I would end up landing, is around, how do I make this meaningful? It has to be personal, and I have to understand that it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's so funny. The Course in Miracles starts with teaching meaning and the power of you give meaning to everything you see. And one of the things that's so interesting about AI, I study Einstein and I study time. And one of my favorite ideas that Einstein subscribed to was we can't solve a problem in the same consciousness in which it was created. AI is a consciousness. It's a collective consciousness that you could take an issue and say, my siblings are scarce and we're dealing with this issue. How would Einstein react or talk about this? And it's phenomenal to shift your own consciousness by taking some of the greatest minds that have enough content out there and say, I have this business issue. What would Napoleon Hill say about this business issue? And different consciousness, which helps you give a different meaning outside. It's an uncomfortable thing, but not as uncomfortable as keep on making the same mistakes again and again and again, because you are your own consciousness, and it takes in linear time so much more time to develop a different consciousness according to a different issue or problem and find the light, the love, and the lessons in it. So great example and meaning of how AI makes humans more human and provides additional consciousnesses in order to facilitate giving us a different meaning or perspective that may be more aligned with where we want to be or better.
Yeah.
Super cool. Rhett, what are you thinking?
Resolutions are easy to say, right? But without resolve, not like you said, by the 11th, most people have given up, the resolution. Because they never, when you make that, I think when you make a resolution or you make an intention, you've got to look at just the deeper. I mean, I can't just say, okay, Rhett, I'm going to go lose that 30 pounds I gained over Christmas eating all those cookies at the mall, right? Or at when I was delivering presents. But if I say that, that's great. But I've got to write it down. I've got to have help getting it done. I've got to have an accountability partner to push me to stay focused on the right things. I've got to have intention. I've got to have resolve, all to make that happen. And if you just make it, if you just say, oh, I want to do this, and you don't put the work behind it,
right?
Like Blaine was talking about, like you got to understand that there's going to be pain or discomfort, or you're changing habits. And so it's a deeper thought process, I think. And you've got to really want it. And if you don't really want it badly, is it really going to happen? And I think that's what's missing from so much of this is we say our friends, we're gonna lose weight this year. We're going to get in shape. You hear that all the time, right? But if you don't have the accountability behind it, the plan on how you're going to do it, if you don't have the resolve, it's not going to happen. And I think that's where that stuff really falls short in so many ways.
Yeah. And Blaine teaches for the sake of what? And I started asking myself that in the realm of overeating during the holidays. If weight is your objective, then go take Ozempic, right? It'll get rid of your weight. But that's not going to get rid of the problem. It's not going to give you the resolve to say, number one, why do I overeat during the holidays? Two, why am I eating the wrong things during the holiday? And three, what can I do to change my behaviors in order to get to where I want to be? And most importantly, as Blaine taught me, for the sake of what, right? Because I want to live a long, healthy life. And that type of eating is not going to get me to where I want to be, which gives me that resolve of what it is. And this reactionary, great example of I gained weight over the holidays, therefore weight is the problem. No, weight's not the problem at all. You're the problem, and your behaviors are good or bad determined upon where you want to be. And when you start aligning your behaviors with where you want to be and picking out the ones that interfere with where you want to be, at least you have that context that allows you to quantify where you are and where you want to be and why you're not where you want to be, and for the sake of why you want to be there. And each day allow yourself to make adjustments according to the circumstances. And we're going to get to the takeaway right now, but I will give you my takeaway first this time. And do you have an old-fashioned phone there in Nigeria? Because that sounds like a dial phone. That's cool.
I'm old-fashioned. I just have
a rotary. It sounds like a rotary phone. That's super cool.
The black rotary phone.
Yeah. My takeaway for the year, and it's something that's so interesting for me, is understanding circumstances. The circumstances change. The minute you come up with a decision or an agreement with self or others, implied, written, with consideration or not, it doesn't matter. But circumstances always change. And so for me, the takeaway of the year is you have to have behaviors that are non-circumstantial. I call them non-negotiable, but there's a certain amount of time each day that I need to have behaviors that are non-circumstantial. Whether or not I need to go down to the hospital, whether or not I need to fix a flat tire, whether or not this happened today, and then have a great prioritization system for the circumstances of the day, so that I'm at least maximizing my activities according to my values each and every day. But the aggregate of being 7 days a week, and it doesn't mean it's working 7 days a week, it's being intentional with non-circumstantial behavior 7 days a week. And I think if anything has given me the most fulfillment, passion, purpose, and profitability, is that I continue to get better at non-circumstantial activity, what I call non-negotiables, and better at prioritizing circumstantial behavior. And I think it has to do with the resolve and the resolution that is apparent for so many people by the end of the year, when they're just reacting, where I'm attentional and intentional every single day, framing it with the 24 hours that I believe we're given every day, except for the last day will be cheated, hopefully seconds, maybe minutes, maybe hours, but it's a good deal, I think, to be guaranteed 24 hours a day, except for the last day. That works for me. Mr. Bartlett, what was your takeaway for the year here?
The takeaway for the year, and it comes down to partly what you're talking about here, but the idea of my issue with anything is never with the thing. It's with the issue really is my relationship with the thing. Yeah, kind of how literally I'm contextualizing what's going on. As you know, we've had some health issues on the family and whatnot, and the issues are what the issues are. But what's the relationship we have with those issues? That makes all the difference in the world, because I can always change the relational dynamic. I may not be able to change the thing. So being able to work with my relationship with self first, but also my relationship with whatever's going on in my life. You talk about non-circumstantial, got to go see mom in the hospital, got a flat tire. What's my relationship with the non-negotiables that allow me to have equanimity, to have kind of a state of, I can settle here, knowing that I've got a foundation to work from. That makes all the difference in the world.
Amen to that.
Beautiful.
Of all the entrepreneurs and authors and the people that come on this program, one of the things, and with the client work I did this year, one of the things that sort of was a consistent theme in the back of my mind when we were talking to these people is that you have two choices. You can either be ruled by fear in your life, or you can be ruled by faith and follow the faith that you have in yourself, in your team, and whatever, your family, whatever. And both of those things require for us to have faith or fear in the unknown. We all of those things require us to have. We don't know what's going to happen, right? We have no idea what the future holds. So both of them require us to understand that there's no guarantee, that we don't know what's going to happen. But most of the people that I think have been on here and in my work, they've chosen faith, and their lives are so much richer because of it. And one of the things I don't think most of the people that we've had on this program will have is regret at the end of their day. Because if you choose fear, the big price tag is going to be regret.
Yep.
Right. And so I think, to me, that's one of my biggest takeaways, is that it's refreshing to see every one of these people leaning into the faith in themselves, the faith in what they're doing, their vision, their mission, and trying to do something in this world significant. And I that to me is really powerful. I love just talking to people who have this undying faith that they're gonna succeed. So that's it. That's my takeaway.
I love it. Yeah, this show is about wisdom and faith. I think those are the two things that I look for when we created the Solo Business, and the very first 3 different shows under Office Hours, and now I think there's 12. But it was wisdom and faith that I wanted to bring out for people. And I think the faith goes beyond believing when there's no evidence. I know Blaine and I had a conversation about true faith is believing when the evidence is contrary to what you believe or want. And
it's almost delusional, right?
Yeah, people. Yeah, it should be delusional, because in the Tao, that's the way the universe works, and so you have to look beyond the evidence. And no evidence is one thing. Most people fail when they see no evidence, but the people on this show, the majority of the people, they see things beyond the evidence, meaning the evidence may be contrary to what, and we know that you're either humble or you're about to be, which actually empowers people to understand it's okay to have faith and wisdom beyond the evidence. And that's what this show is here for. It's been here for, depending on what shows it is, 675 or 725, we don't really know. So we're just putting up numbers now. It's a lot of shows and a lot of guests. But we're here to share wisdom and faith with the big community that we built. And Napoleon Hill Institute's going to help even expand the community and the content within the realm of one of my first mentors. He was almost as old as Blaine, Napoleon Hill, and he shares his wisdom and faith. So we'll have the Blaine Bartlett Institute.
Santa Claus is old.
Santa Claus is the oldest. I look so young next to you guys. It's great. All right. Anyways, that's because I dye my hair. Anyways, here we go. I want to wish you both the best of 2025. I think about you two in my life and think I must have done something really tremendous in my past life to have Blaine Bartlett and Rhett Power join me in my journey and my human experience. I love you both. We'll see you soon. Let me know how I could be of service or value. Send my love around the world to your family and friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, guys.
You bet, buddy. See you later. Rhett, let's get connected this week.
Let's do. Let's make that happen.
Right on.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, everyone. I want to thank my 2 beautiful producers. There they are. Hello, ladies. They're always here early in the morning helping us. This show would not happen without our friends Iona and Gigi, our international amazing crew, the double duo. We're going to see you guys, I believe, at CS or at Super Bowl. Which one are we flying? When are we going to see you? Unmute yourself. Oh.
You're cutting out. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. When am I going to see you guys? When am I going to see you guys?
You're going to see us on January 31 while flying there. So
all right. We'll see you then.
1 month.
Only days away in my mind. Thank you both for doing such a great job. I appreciate you. You're
Thank
amazing.
you. I appreciate you.
All right, everyone. Well, we're going to, as you know, January 11th, the triple birthday bash. But before the triple birthday bash of 1958, 1968, and 2025, January 11th, with Napoleon Hill Institute, my birthday in the corporate division, We're going to be in Atlanta. I'll be keynoting Aspire in Atlanta with, of course, David Goggins, the other David, O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, Eddie Wilson, myself, Tom Story. The crew will be in Atlanta. The next day we'll be in Las Vegas at CES and Investor Mastermind. We'll be at CES in studio at the Wynn. We just, with SiriusXM, $1.5 million upgrade to a $6 million studio. I still think that's the best podcast studio in the world in the lobby of the Wynn. Come and join us in Vegas if you're at CES. And then we have our SoFi Mastermind at the greatest stadium ever built. That one's about $5.6 billion. And so there's a lot of going on. Napoleon Hill Institute in between. Look, if you want to be part of the community, join our private networking group, david@dmeltzer.com. Text me. We're in over 200 cities again. Just found out I'm going to be in New York on the 16th and 17th, St. Croix this month, added in. So it just never stops. 949-298-2905. Just get alerted to where we're going to be, because I don't really even know. I use my own alerting system. Most importantly, everyone, seek the wisdom and faith to shorten the distance of resistance in your life. I'll repeat that. Use wisdom and faith to shorten the distance of resistance in your life. Be more interested than interesting of what you're doing to interfere with your potential. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. God bless everyone. Have an awesome holiday. Take care. Hit it, Gigi.